you know. And okay.
Yeah.
So I was thinking about what I was going to do instead of just doing the same old stuff I normally do. I was sort of thinking about last season and what the stuff that worked for me.
Yeah.
And this is all trout now. None of this is salmon or anything like that. It's all trout because that's mostly what I do these days. So most of my fishing here is on the Usk, as you probably know. There's a lake up in the hills above here. I fish a lot. I fish the test. I've got a half rod down there, so every other week basically in the season. So that's the most of the fishing I've been doing in the last couple of years. And last year, to be honest, I didn't do much because I was traveling so much. So I'll start with a lake fly, and this one has caught a lot of fish for me. Let's just swap my cameras. It's nothing special. Well, none of these are special. They're just the sort of flies I fish with. How do I change that camera around down there? That one. Does that work?
Yeah.
Is it working? Has it got in close? No, not that one. That one should be the zoomed in one. Right, hang on, boys. I'm having a few technical problems today, as you can tell.
No rush, Paul. You're all right.
Yeah. That one there. What can you see now, lads? Can you see a zoomed in one?
No, it's the same one. It should pop up on your laptop.
Yeah, it's showing. It's on the software. It's showing, but not on the. So that's the normal one.
It's a normal one, yeah.
I don't know what the hell that one is.
That's the one on your Vice.
Why isn't it zoomed in? Right, I think I know why.
Focus.
Yeah, I think I've just got to do something down here. Did that change it at all?
No, still the same picture.
Right, let's get out of that. This ain't going good, boys, is it? Let's restart that. It's not changed it at all, is it?
No, that's okay, though.
Well, you're not going to see the fly here. The first one's a size 22.
No.
It's not, I'm joking. I'm just trying to figure it. This is working perfectly just now until the internet went down. Talk amongst yourselves, boys.
They're all topping up their glasses.
Good. Right, I'm just going to relaunch it. It is open on my computer. Restart required on the new. All right. There's bloody frozen now.
I see Rune's joined us from Norway.
He's going to be disappointed. Now my other camera won't connect. Oh, fucking hell.
It's okay. Take your time.
Yeah.
Evening, Derek. Sorry I'm late.
That's all right, mate. You all right?
Yes, fine, thanks.
Good. Darren's just woken up as well. You having another swig of whiskey, are you, Jim? Cheers.
Not even showing up on the. I'm going to come out of this and go back in.
Yeah.
Not even showing up. I can't understand it.
I got two screens showing the same thing, Paul.
Yeah, I'll just restart on this again now.
Yeah.
The search, it says it's searching for devices, but it's not finding it.
That's odd. Is your iPhone linked to your laptop wirelessly, is it?
No, it's on a wire. It was working perfectly just now.
Yeah. Well, we checked it earlier, didn't we?
Mm-hmm. Right. Okay, I'm going to do one more thing, boys.
Yeah.
If you've got a bit of patience, I'm going to restart the whole thing, okay?
Yeah, no worries. Excuse me. Evening, John.
Evening.
Having a few technical problems.
Oh, I see.
Good evening, John.
I don't know if he can hear you, Owen.
That's all right. No worry, I'll see him next week, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Right. Nice man.
How was the fishing the other week anyway? I can't remember where you went now, but how did it go?
They didn't do too well, did they, Pete?
No, 8 of us went, only 3 caught.
Where went?
I must have gone through about a dozen different patterns. I didn't get a touch all day long. Lovely venue, good breakfast.
Oh, fantastic.
Got
Yeah.
to be said. Good breakfast. Parking was a pain in the butt, but I shall review the next one. Loynton we're going to go to. I've already sorted out parking.
Yeah,
We've got an overflow. We've got 2 overflow car parks just for us.
good.
And breakfast is sorted. Big boys breakfast, $11.99. Plus you pay for your teas and your coffees separate. So that's on top as well. So that's all sorted. The fishery's booked, and I'm trying to sort the weather out now.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Oh,
Snake.
well.
Going back to Monday, Pete. When I got back up to the car park, you'd all gone, but I did manage to catch one fish. I don't know whether you got that recorded.
Good man. No, I've got you down for 2.
Oh, no, I only caught one.
Oh, okay, mate. I'll rub it out then.
I,
Well
I,
done,
I
mate.
didn't change it in the book. Yeah.
Well done, mate. Well done. No, it was a good day, but the fishing fish. Apparently, he'd really heavily stocked it Thursday before, because he emailed me when I got back to say that he'd seen the results book, and he was shocked horror to see that a lot of us are blanked.
Yeah.
Hopefully that's not going to happen in Loynton.
You might want a few dog nuts.
Yeah, exactly.
Super duper hook.
Yeah. Apparently, Loynton has been around since 1881. I didn't know that.
Bloody hell.
Yeah. Yeah, going strong. I'm looking forward to it.
What, as a trout fishery?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, 1881.
Pete, that isn't right.
Well, Peter, the guy who owns it, he says, yeah, it's one of the first trout fisheries in the UK.
Bloody hell.
Yeah.
Since when?
He reckons 1881.
And he's still got the original trout swimming around,
Oh,
hasn't
like
He
that.
has, yeah, not been caught yet.
I'd
I
say
thought, I was thinking the River Inch or in it down in Southampton was the original one.
Oh, I've no
Fish-
idea. No
But,
idea.
don't take any notes of what Peter says anyway.
Exactly.
I fished it. So the people are telling me it's chalk stream.
Mhm.
Place to this. And
It's like
very fast.
it's like the oldest pub in Britain, isn't it? Like, there's half a dozen of them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. If I've just had that trout for dinner tonight, very nice it was too. A nice, chunky, hunky trout, just with a bit of tin foil, white wine, and a bit of black pepper. Worth the treat.
Did you find the tin foil a bit chewy?
It sticks in your teeth, doesn't it?
How did those rainbow trout taste, Pete?
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice, yeah. I was expecting it to be a little bit earthy, but no, it was a nice chunky fish.
Well, that's good.
Okay,
'Cause
came off the bone clean as a whistle.
I've tried them over here in Ireland in several places,
Mhm.
and the taste of them.
Really, too earthy.
Yeah.
If you put a bit of salt when you've gutted them, put a bit of salt in the innards, leave it for 5 minutes, and then rinse it off. That apparently gets rid of any earthy taste.
All right, I must try that.
Try that, yeah.
Yeah, because I think we're spoiled with the wild brown trout fishing here.
Oh,
We're
Paul's
spoiled
back on.
here.
I'll shut up now. He's back in action.
You back, Paul?
Oh, well, I might be. The internet and the whole house went down.
Oh, no
I've just
wonder, no wonder you froze.
Yeah, so I've just rebooted it all. We'll see if it works. It's not giving me anything on my fucking camera.
That's odd, isn't it?
Right. So let's turn the camera around.
There we go.
I should be able to zoom in on that now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's saying your broadband width is low, Paul.
Yeah, there's something wrong with my internet. There is.
Who are you
Right,
with?
where is it? Huh?
Who are you with for your broadband?
EE. It's gone again.
Yeah, it's frozen again, isn't it?
Yeah. Device is currently inactive. That's as best as I'm going to get, and I can't even get close to the device with that, mate.
Well, they can still see the steps are tie-in, and then at the
Okay,
end.
I'll give it a go. I'll just I think that's as close as I can get with it.
It's much better than mine, Paul.
Right. Okay. I won't be doing those size 22s then. Let's get this all square on.
Have another sip of that glass of wine, Paul.
I'm ready now, boys. I'm ready. I can find that hook I just had. Right. So this is a variation on a fly called the Blue Flash Damsel. I'm sure you've all heard of it. So this is a size 8 hook. This is a Fasner whatever streamer hook, really big and strong. Love it. Really favorite streamer hook at the minute. So I just start by putting some thread on.
Are you recording, Eric?
Sorry.
So, say again, Tony.
Are you recording it?
Yeah.
Okay, so the marabou I like for this, I like the strung marabou, and the way I prepare it. So, like if you tie, like I tie a lot of them in one go, so I want them all to be exactly the same. So I take the marabou off the string, and then I measure them so they're all exactly the same size. So you know that when you tie these in, every fly is going to have the same size tail. And you know that because if you tie in where you strip to, yeah, every marabou feather you've got out of your pile is all exactly the same length.
Yeah.
So I like a nice, quite long full tail, if you like, not too fat. But the other good reason for doing it this way is you get such a slim tie-in. Quite a long tail. And then if you take a couple of wraps around the base of the tail,
This helps stop it around the hook bend, doesn't it?
that's right, yeah. It looks a bit odd to start with, but it really does stop it happening. So you got a nice tail, nice and easy. Get rid of this thing. So normally with a woolly bugger type fly, you'd put in a rib now, you'd dub or wrap a body, and then you wrap your hackle back. I don't bother with any of that. And I don't bother with any flash, but what I do use are these things. And this is where the blue flash comes in. Right, this blue and olive seems to work. So these are blue silicon legs. So I just fold them in. Catch them in either side of the fly. And position to each side of the tail. So that gives it a load of extra movement. The flaps about beautifully. And I'm convinced they fish better like this. So then the body material I use is a type of chenille that's got bits of, I'll see if I can hold it a bit closer. You can see the blue.
Oh, yeah.
Like
I think I got that from Uphaven or someone like that. Or Chuck and Duck, maybe. And I'll just catch that in. Now, the bead I normally use on this fly is bright orange. And I did have one on my desk when I was messing about there. but I seem to have lost it. So normally it would be a bright, oh, there it is. So I'd have a really hot orange bead on the front of this. So keeping your rubber legs out the way, just start folding this and wrapping it. You see you can crank out a load of these in one sitting. Nice cheap materials, apart from the beads and the phasma hooks, they ain't cheap. I think this stuff is a couple of quid for, you know, a mile and a half of it or something. So get yourself a nice body in there. Catch it in behind the bead. Take it out. So then get your comb and just make sure everything's going the right direction and not tangled in on itself. And you could finish it there, really, but I put a hackle in front just for an extra bit more movement. So these are, this is, if you get a whole hen skin, these are the soft hackles down the back of the hen. So they're quite big, as you can see, lovely and soft. So that's what they are. You could use normal sort of hen neck hackles, but on this fly, it will sort of get lost. I think it needs to have a bit more. It needs to be bigger and softer, I think. Anyway, so I just peel it back like you would any other soft hackle. Take the tip out. Catch it in there. Keep missing it. Just fold it a little bit. Get that first wrap going. You got a nice full hackle on the front. And this tends to fish with fish best with a bit of weight. I normally use an intermediate line and then count it down. But that sort of jigging motion on the way back with a sort of fairly steady retrieve seems to work. And that's essentially it. But I think early season especially, up till, you know, the sort of, you start getting a lot of surface buzzer activity. Up until that point, this and a black version of this is probably all I fish on there, on quite a fast intermediate line. Horrible looking thing, but by Christ it works. Any questions on that one?
I fish something similar to that, Paul.
Yeah,
It's called a tadpole.
yeah, that's another one. Yeah,
And it's absolutely lethal in the spring
yeah,
and summertime.
yeah.
Still water
Good.
and the river is lethal.
Yeah, good fly. Good in black, good in brown, and good in any color you fancy, I guess. But I draw the line of doing pink and stuff like that. But yeah, anyway. So that was the first one. That's just to limber me up.
I'm going to try one of them next week.
Yeah, give it a go, mate.
Oh,
You get this blue stuff. The only place I can find this is the Fly Tying Company.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, it's cheap enough, and you get a load of it in a pack.
I tied a few weeks back when I'd done a Zoom. My video wasn't great, you know, my camera. I tied up the tadpole, but actually see it done right wasn't great. So that's one of the fly I'm going to retie again at Ludlow next week.
Yeah, give it another go. Yeah.
You know, I'm going to do a right belt, so I'll be over next week. So if you're about, drop in.
Yeah, okay, will do.
Thanks.
Right, so thinking about then the rivers, I think there's probably 5 flies that I've always got, and I've always got lots of. I might have them in different sizes and maybe a few different colors, but all essentially the same flies. And the number one for me, like over the years, is a Caddis. I'm going to do this on a bigger hook so you can see it. So I would tie these from a 12 down to an 18. You may have seen this one before, but this is the one that slammed them in New Zealand. Really did do the job. But it's, other than a Mayfly, it's the only fly I use on the test. Only dry fly I use on the test. We get great afternoon caddis hatches down there from sort of April on. I got the wrong thread, so I'm going to use a GSP on this because of the way I tie the wing in. It's got to be very strong. So this is just a 50 denier GSP. Doesn't matter on the color again.
On a size 14, Paul.
This is a size 12 actually.
Well,
it's a size 12. Is it size 12? Yeah, it is. It's a size 12 SLD3, so it's a heavyweight partridge dry fly hook. They do the SLD2, which is fine, and they do the SLD. I don't know if they still do that actually. But that was a really fine one, and that was too fine for me. If you get into a half decent fish, you know you have to be careful you don't straighten them. But this thing is an anchor, and they're sharp. But these upturn points, I think, are almost as good as barbed hooks, you know. So this is just 3 materials on this fly, a bit of dubbing. I'm going to show you a method I like to use for dubbing. It makes a really strong fly. And this one, you'll be able to catch quite a few fish on before you have to change it. CDC and elk here, but it's a right. So I've got, yeah. So this is bull elk, which you see a lot around. Very nice, nothing wrong with it, but it's very, very soft. And when you put any pressure on that, it flares like hell. And I want the wing there. It's not really for anything other for me to see, a paler color. So I use this stuff, which is, again, it's bull elk, but they call it backstrip. So it's the fur. It's not from the flanks of the beast. It's the ridge that goes down the middle of his backbone. And this is the bull elk version. You can see it's a lot coarser, and it doesn't flare anywhere near as much. Holds floating. It's great. I really like it. And you can see you could tie quite big flies down to tiny flies with it. Good stuff if you can find it. Nature Spirit do it, but at the moment it's out of stock everywhere. I don't know if they're going to bring it back in. Dubbing wise, anything. I like squirrel. And I've got squirrel here that's got a bit of flash in it. And those test trout are stupid stockies anyway, most of them. So let's give them some flash. Yeah. So this is really buggy. So to get it under control, I dub it in 2 stages. So I put on normal twisted dubbing. Like that. So I take the thread around my finger. Form a loop. Take the loop to the back of the hook. So effectively it's going to be dubbed twice. So it's dubbed once on one leg of the loop, and then I'll put the twister in and then twist the already dubbed. And you can see already it's gone down really fine and spiky. And because that's with the GSP thread, that's just not going to break. You know, it's not going to break. It's not going to get loose. And the trout can chew on it to their heart content. Sometimes I do these with a little bright tail sticking out the back, like a bit of hot orange or a bit of chartreuse green for the granum. But essentially, it's all the same fly. And one thing I like to do is to keep everything really tight and tie everything off under maximum pressure, so there's nothing to slip. So that's the body. It's a shame you can't see these close up. And then CDC. So this is a size 12. So I think probably 4 feathers or 5, whatever you want, really. So I do the same thing as I do with the marabou. I get them all stacked together. So there's 4. I've sort of lined up the tips. I haven't done a great job there. Let's have a little fiddle with that. Did one fall out then? Yeah. If you put any more than 4 in, you're tying down on the stems of the CDC. Now there's 4 all lined up. So if you put more than 4 in, when you're tying down on those stems, you get a great big tie-in area. You can get away with it on a size 12. When it goes any smaller, what I do is I snip the tips out to the length I want, so the fibers, and then tie them in on the fibers, not the stems, if you know what I mean. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So just clear the base of the stems off. Now, I don't really want these to go in a bunch. I want to try and keep them sort of flat. And that's the thing that floats the fly. The fly floats on the base of the CDC. The wing on the top is what you see. That floats the fly, and the body hangs underneath the water. So I lay them on top flat, sort of fold each side down, take a couple of loose wraps, and then pull them through to the length you like. I mean, it's totally up to you what length you want. So that's going to be me, I think. So that's really loose there at the minute. So I take another couple of wraps and then lift up and towards you, a couple of cranked in wraps just to secure it there. Lift this lot, a couple of lock-in turns, then get rid of this. This is where your GSP helps. You could wax it, but as long as those last couple of wraps are really tight, it shouldn't come out. So then you get your bit of elk backstrap. Clear out all the crap. And then when you look at it, once you've cleared it out, you'll see that you've got these, every now and again, you've got these really heavy hairs. There's only a few of every little clump, so I pull them out so you've got the same sort of texture of hair. And you'll notice there's quite a pronounced curve in it. So you've got to deal with that. So, hair tapper, put it in. And when you tap it, don't tap it vertically, tap it at an angle. You might have seen me do this before, but and then here's a line and all in the same curve inside the stacker. So good that comes out. You get a nice neat little clump. That's quite a heavy little clump, but I'll use it anyway. So to put this on, I like to do it all in one sort of motion. I don't want loads of this sticking out the front, flaring out the place and having to trim it and all that. So I'll measure it about the same length as the CDC. So that's the length for the wings from the outside of the eye to the back of the CDC. Swap hands. So now you know you've got the exact length you want inside your fingers. So you want a little bit more to tie it in. So if you move your fingers forward, you see it. You see this, well, it's hard to explain. So as I roll my fingers forward, I'm taking up a little bit more length. So I roll them forward. I know the wing now is slightly longer than I need. And then I cut it. And then I roll my fingers back. And now I know I've got the perfect head there every time. So when you put that on top of your fly to tie it in, make sure the square cut is in line with the front of the eye. I just go 1, 2, 3, pull up and towards me, 4, underneath the hair, keep it tight. And then whip finish underneath those butts. But instead of whip finishing vertically as you normally do, go in horizontally underneath. 3 turns. And then when you tighten the whip finish, pull the whip finish back against the turns that you put the wing on with, if that makes sense. Pull that really tight. I'll never come out. And if this fly was in your hand, you wouldn't be able to see the thread tie in there. It goes in so fine. Solid fly, that. And that's the fly I wouldn't go anywhere. It has to come with me. I have to have a lot of them. And on that day on I can't remember the name of the river now in New Zealand, when I was catching them on there, at the end of the day, the guide asked me for them and he took every one I had in my box.
He never did.
Yeah, well, I didn't need them then. I was going home a couple of days later. Good little fly. I haven't got a name for it. I mean, lots of people tie things similar. But that's my way of doing it. And that method, if you're putting in any sort of hair, so it's 3 wraps over it, really tight, and then a 3-turn whip finish underneath, pulled back really tight, and it was solid, as you can see. It's not going anywhere. So you can get a close up of that. Agreed.
Yeah.
Nice, quick, neat way of doing it. Then another one, again, this is very, very simple. I'll do it on a 12 as well because you can see this type from a 12 to 2022. And this works. I'd use this in hatches of olives. It's a type of shuttlecock, but it's again my way of doing it, and it's really quick, really secure. I'm going to use olive GSP. It doesn't have to be GSP, just so happens as what I've got there. And this is unusual for shuttlecock, and it's got a tail. I'm going to open a nice fresh pack of coq de Leon. I love this stuff, tails. So my way of doing tails, I always tie the tail in at the front of the hook. And it gives you a nice, if you handle it right as you're tying it in, it gives you a nice straight tail with no kinks or flares, if that's what you like. So there's my tail. So size 12 is probably 8 fibers in there. Measure it. I don't like them too long, maybe the length of the shank over the back. So the thread's in the middle of the hook. Measure my tail, swap hands. Use the torque to bring it on top. Yeah, it's right on top. I'll start wrapping back using the tail like you would the loose end of the thread to keep, when you're tying on. Every now and again, release the fibers because as you wrap, you put a twist into the fibers. And if you keep hold of these and keep wrapping, when you let go at the end, you'll get this horrible twisted tail. So take a couple of wraps, let go, let it straighten itself out, and that's it really. So a nice straight tail. I don't know if you can see that. It's a bit longer than I would have liked, but hey ho. Take your thread back to the top. So now this is all about creating a nice smooth tapered body from here on in. We'll worry about the wing at the end. So a lot of my flies, I just use olive thread, river flies, particularly with a black rib. And I tie nymphs, wets, dries, whatever. If I can find some black thread. Just gonna pop that on another bobbin if I can find one. Oh, there we go. I'll just put another bobbin in there with black thread on it. Keep the thread on my side of the hook. Let it hang there for a minute. And to create the tapers, it's really easy, really, but so at the moment it's a level body. Flatten out your thread a bit. Go down, let's say 3/4 of the length. Stop. Come back up. So you've added another 2 layers to that section of the hook. Go back down to say 1/3 and back up. There's another 2 layers there, and you can see the taper forming already. And then to smooth it all out, flatten your thread, nice straight even turns all the way down to the end and all the way back up. If you did this with 6/0 thread or anything like that, you'd have a great big fat fly. So you know you need pretty fine thread to do this. And take your rib and put in. I'll show you this with a closer up shot at afterwards so you can see the effect of it. 5 or 6 turns. I got into an argument with an American on some forum about, he posted something more or less said, every fly should have 5 turns on it. If it doesn't, then it looks wrong. It's wrong. You know, it's the traditional way. And he showed a picture of a dry fly with 5 turns, looked lovely. So I showed him a picture of a real fly, and they have 8 or 10 turns on them. So I never worry about putting it on. You just put on what looks good to you. So that's the body and the tail. So again, the wing's going to be CDC. There's no hackle on this. There's no thorax. It's just thread and CDC. This one, in fact, in size 12, last May, we were down in Slovenia, and we did really well with this exact pattern. So again, you just, exactly as we did before, layer up about 4 CDCs. Again, keeping them flat. Try and keep them roughly the same length. Take off the fluff at the bottom. I feel like I'm doing this in a hurry, so it's not coming out as way as I want it. So I'm going to do it again. So this time I'm going to do them the other way around. So when you hold these things in your fingers, you imagine you've got 4 CDCs stacked on top of each other. You want those stems to be on top of each other. So when you feel them in your fingers, it should be a flat section in there, if you know what I mean. So if that makes sense. Then I tie them in more or less on the bare stems, just a loose couple of wraps. And in this case, I put my thumbnail under there. So when I pull, they don't spin around the hook. The length will be about the same length as the body. So again, that's only 2 loose turns in there. Make sure it's on top. Put your pressure on, another 2 turns, really crank it on. And then go around the base and post it up just a little bit. Bring this bunch forward. And again, post it, the one against the other. And when that's done, once you trim that, it's double the amount of CDC that's floating this fly. So let's go back to front and tie it off. So this wig at the back, just cut it down vertically. And you can see you've got a nice mayfly shaped wing. And because you've posted the bottom, if you want this fly to fish horizontally in the film, you can move that wing and it fishes vertically. See what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then if you want it to fish more like a shuttlecock, you just move it the other way. And because you've posted the wing down the bottom, it'll stay there. And that's the way I like them, mostly. So I don't know what you'd call it, but I'd call it a shuttlecock. I've tried them with hackles, hen hackles there, just to give them a few legs and stuff, a bit of dubbing, but don't make any difference to me. And that wing, if you tie it on a tiny fly, tiny hook, it'd be a good midge pattern. That's it. That's that one.
Tidy.
Any questions on that one? No? Mind if I have a slurp, lads?
No, you get a straw in there.
Remember Keith Floyd on the telly when he used to cook and have a slurp?
Yeah, he used to take a great big glug though, didn't he?
Mm.
I call
used to have
that
a
fly
pub.
make you uppy.
Huh?
I make you uppy. I call that fly one of your own tines.
Yeah, it's just yeah. But again, see, I look at my box and I see loads of them in there, and they just work. And these, well,
Can't go wrong. 2 o'clock midday, hot day. I find the Caddis works very well for me. Rye fish.
yeah, lovely.
And these small, tiny mergers in.
Mm.
And the brighter it gets, duration of the day, say about 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, I go yellow. Everything is going to be yellow. And a
Okay.
white CDC type.
Yeah.
Now, I know every water is different. I want to talking about rye fish.
Well,
Whatever
I fish yellow CDCs certain times of the year, in May particularly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think with most of the olive flies, just a darkish body will do it. It's not, you think, oh, like this fly has got this color olive, this fly's got that color olive. I just think that's nonsense. It might be in real life that they do have the different colors, but I don't think the colors make a difference to the fish.
I agree.
I think it's a bit of contrast, silhouette.
Yeah, took the words of my mouth.
Yeah.
I just like to keep it simple, not too scientific. Like I know there's all these you guys now has popped up, say less than 10 years, especially since COVID. They're all bloody experts, and you're fishing there with flies that you're confident in. And the way you're talking there, oh, that's not right. This fella said this. This fella said, "Does it go away with you? Is it fish what you want? Does it like fishing this?"
Yeah.
I'd be catching fish.
Yeah. I just, I given the choice these days, I'd always fish a dry fly, sometimes a wet fly, but my preference is a dry. But even nymphs, like if you think about, if I look at nymphs in the water, if I turn over a rock on the husk, I'm sure it's the same on any other bloody river. They're tiny for a start, right? They're not size 12, very few of them. They're tiny and they're black, or they're really dark brown or really dark olive.
Correct.
There's no red bits on them. There's no flash on them. There's no gold bead on the front.
No, no fact. I fish traditional as much as possible, even
Yeah.
those traditional nymphs, without all the bling and Christmas tree thrown onto it.
Yeah. Yeah. Right, I'll do a nymph. Just this is
The dark side.
oh yeah, this is very dark. Again, I'll do it on a 12, but some chance of seeing it. These I'd normally do on 14s and 16s. So I'll call this one the Neoprene Nymph. So this one I fished behind a dry fly, so it's unweighted. There's no weight. In fact, it floats. It floats just under the surface. And when you see the fish bulging, not breaking the surface as such, this would be the sort of fly I would use. This or a spider. So this is neoprene. So it's from the inside of a piece of neoprene like you'd use in a diver's suit, and the layers have been peeled off it. Nice and stretchy, it floats, and it's cheap as chips. Old pair of waders or something, you know. So again, I'm just going to do an olive and black rib version. Basically the same as the dry fly to start with. That was my, yeah. So I'm going to use the same CDL feathers for the tail. It's much shorter tail this time, so maybe the hook gape, but put it in exactly the same way. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. It goes on nice and straight. That's a little bit long again. See if I can pull that through. Yeah. This time we're not going to go all the way up to the eye because we've got a thorax to come in. Get your black thread. Catch it in there. Hang out of the way somewhere. And you can tie this neoprene in a couple of different ways. I'm going to do it this particular way. So just take a little slip of it, about 2 mil thick maybe. I'm going to catch that out over the eye. I'm only doing this for neatness, so I don't have to, when I tie this in, I don't have to put a whip finish in front of this neoprene and have to trim it really small and blah, blah, blah. There's my neoprene. So I'm going to put a bit of a taper in this one as well. Same weight. You can see a theme here, boys, can't you? Olive and black thread. And the only thing that changes is the bit at the front of the fly. If you wanted to, you can make these weighted as well. So like you could have a sunk nymph. But all I would do then is I wouldn't use the neoprene. I'd put a tiny bit of lead underneath, or down here, tiny bit of lead underneath the thorax, and fish it like a old-fashioned pheasant tail, you know. There's my black rib. And you can also put varnish on the body of these if you're not using GSP, you know, just using ordinary thread. You varnish on these helps. Or I guess you could put a black wire rib on if you wanted to. These are good in brown. Again, a bit of dubbing, something a bit spiky for this one, I think. A bit of squirrel. And this time we'll dub it on quite loose. And then when you finish it dubbing, dub from the front to the back and finish your thread at the back there. And take your thorax cover back over, catch it in, finish. Put this in fairly close, and that's it. And that's got just enough buoyancy to keep it not on the surface, but very near the surface. Good profile. Easy to tie. You know, if you lose them, who gives a damn? That's the Neoprene Nymph. No fag break now, boys. Talk amongst yourselves.
Are you going to do your string thing?
If you want me to, yeah.
That's a cracking fly, that is.
Yeah. This is the material for a string thing. This has got to be the fastest fly ever. So all that is EP fibers in light olive, darker olive, and a bit of brown. You take yourself a chunk of it. That's probably a bit too much, but yeah, that's more like it. And then you take your hook. Again, I've used a size 12, but again, I would normally use these quite small. And use black thread. So I like them to be quite dark in the body. So you take your length of EP fibers, put a fold in it. I quite like that sort of straggly end. So I'll put my fold in it. And that straggly end gets tied in so it hangs over the back of the hook. I tie it in from the front. So we're taking both strands back and forward again. So now I've got the tail or the shuck, and I've got the body material here. So all I do now, let's get rid of these bits of black thread. Take this and wind it as the body. Take that at the top. Make sure it's on top of that loop. Catch it in. Finish underneath. This isn't the sort of fly you should tie at the BFFI, mind.
It catches.
Or maybe you should. Maybe you should, yeah. Got a bit of black thread there I don't like. You pick this lot, and that's your wing. So it's like a comparadon.
So
And he's
simple,
working
but so
Mayfly
effective.
sorry?
So simple, but so effective.
Oh, it works, yeah. You just got to put some floatant on it. I mean, it takes a bit of managing, but and it's ugly as anything. I mean, it's horrible. Yeah, it is horrible. But yeah, just goes to show, doesn't it? What will work and what won't. That works really good if you use a yellowish yarn for the yellow maid duns. Or in this sort of size, do you know what? I'd try it for the Mayfly. on the lakes, probably. I'd give it a go. Everyone's speechless. There's not many people I show that.
And you don't mind losing them up the tree, do you?
Oh, hell no. Yeah. So the other one I'm going to do, I'm going to try a small one. I tell you what, I'll do it on an 18, but it needs to be a bit smaller than that, really.
Go on, do 24.
I'll do a 24, but you won't be able to see it here.
I was trying a biffy. Think cameras.
Yeah, you need a fucking periscope. Sorry, telescope to see this one.
Do it on a larger hook, Paul.
Yeah, I will. I'll tie it on a. Let's see what an 18 looks like. See if you can see it.
And they can tie them smaller then, can't they?
A tiny. Yeah, right, okay. So I'll put them on a 14 or something. This really needs to be on a curved shank hook, boys, to be honest. For the shape. See what I can find here. What have I got? Yeah. This is called a WD-40. And again, it's a nymph or a midge. But it is tied, it's normally tied in tiny sizes, you know. And even on a 22 or a 24, I wouldn't worry, especially the hooks I do use for these ones. 2488 TMCs. Very strong. Wide gape as well, so you get a good grab on them, you know. And they got this tiny little barb, which is a bit naughty, but you know. So this one, again, I just tie them in dark colors. I don't even bother with a rib. So I'm going to tie this one in black. So black or dark olive or something like that, you know. So all you do with this one, again, it's only 3 materials: the thread, some dubbing, and the tail. So we're going to use a bit more of that nice CDL if I can find it. I don't know how I've managed to get so messy so quickly. Yeah. There it is.
The WD-40 is on our website, Paul.
Is it? Right.
And
there you go.
The nymphs.
Yeah, it's a nymph. It's a nymph or a midge.
Yeah.
So a bunch of tails, but you want them to go round the bend. So I'm going to put the hook at a slightly different angle in the vise, so I can tie the tail in going down round the bend. Quite a short tail. Let's catch it in. Bring your thread back up. This one really works well as a dry dropper. So that's your body done. And then come back. And you put a tight little thorax on it. I think the original one used wood duck fibers, hence the WD wood duck. And they used the wood duck fibers for the tail, brought it up underneath the body, and then used the thick end of the fibers to put a wing case over, I think, on the original one. But if you want to do it like that, or use a piece of pheasant tail, happy days, do what you want. But I just leave it all out. And there's endless variations of this you can do. You could fill a box with hundreds of these, and no two of them will be the same, you know. So I've just used a bit of squirrel, tightly dubbed. This is about profile. It's not about little leggy bits sticking out of it. You don't want it to be scruffy. You want it to be really tight.
Like a little ball.
Yeah, good buzzer imitation as well. And that there is a WD-40. I might have some, I did some the other day. I might have some laying around you in a proper size. Oop. Shitty hook, it's got a sharp. Oh, I don't like that. I hate it when that little sharp bit on the eye catches you, you know?
Normally the hook point, isn't it?
Yeah, you know where the return eye goes in on the...
Yeah.
Sometimes it catches there as well. Never mind, we fix it. You can also tie these with a tiny little bead up front. Make it sink a bit more. Or a bit quicker. You put, like, this is, well, size 14 this is, so, but if you put on this one, if you put like a 2mm bead, but you go down to an 18 or smaller and you're into the really tiny little beads, like, you know. I don't know if you can see that, but where's the camera?
That's it.
That's it. Simple as that.
Yeah.
You had one of them in front of it. A nice little combination.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there was one fly I did come up with. It was new to me. It was something I just come up with one day to fish in New Zealand, and it was to fish heavy nymphs underneath. I'll tell you one now. It's a horrible looking thing, but it did the job with the nymphs. But while we were down there, they had these a cicada hatch going on. I don't know if you know what one of them is. I've never seen one before.
They're massive.
Oh, massive, yeah. Huge. So I tried one of these on it and it worked. Oh. So this is a size 12. This is a dry fly. This is a size 12, 2x strong wire streamer hook. Oh, you need some really strong thread for this. I wouldn't use GSP or anything like that for this because it just cut through. It's a foam fly. It'll just cut through the foam. So you want something that'll hold it, but still treat it a bit gentle, you know? So this is just normal 6/0 thread. Polyester type stuff, normal sort of tying thread. So you want a nice bed of thread on this one. You don't have to go down the whole shank. It's about halfway. And I would, if I had any handy, put a drop of super glue on top of this. Just something for the phone to grip to. Then I used foam cylinders, you know, the sort of thing that you would use a daddy, yeah? But I bought the wrong things. So these are a little bit thick for daddies. So I had about a dozen packets of this laying around. And I was trying to think of something to do with it. So I used it for these. I was messing about trying to get a really fast flight to tie for a dropper, you know, a top hopper dropper type thing. Really quick, really buoyant. And this is what I come up with. So I take the whole thing, fold it in half, line up the ends, catch them just going out over the eyes, nice and tight, and then use the rest of the foam to put in this type of body that I came up with. This has got to be really tight, this area here. And that's how it looks. That's basically the body done. And then again, I used the elk backstrap for a wing. And this sort of pokes up in here, and you can see it from quite a distance. Even though it's a big fly, you know, they can be quite difficult to see in fast, turbulent water. I wouldn't go putting this over midge feeders, you know what I mean? But the sort of thing was, when those fish were coming, because they come so far to grab, they see this and, you know, they come and have a look. And with those cicadas, they're quite big green and black things.
Make hell of a noise as well, don't they?
Yeah, they do. So the wing is about the length of the body. So again, I cut it square at the front. Move the thread back to just behind the eye and catch it in there. Take it back. There's your wing and there's your body. I'm going to have to find a hackle for this. Oh. You want a fairly big hackle. Or even two of them. So I've got two hackles there. Cut them to about the same length as that thorax area you've put in. Catch them in. Take the whole lot forward. Go past the butts of the elk. And there should be a little gap between those butts and the eyes where you can really cram those hackles in to tie them off. And just hold them really tight. And wrap them both forward together until it sort of fits in that slot at the front. Couple of turns just to lock it. And again, then we're going to go in under the eye at the front, same way as we did the caddis. And whip finish underneath, horizontally again. And pull back against the wraps. So it's nice and snug.
going to float like a cork.
It does, mate. And that's it. Call it the Lilo.
I can see why you've called it that.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you can it can see how nice that hackle comes when you put two in. Um it can spin if you've when you're casting, if you've got the tippet is too light, it can spin. It's not so bad when it's got a nymph hanging off the back, but as a dry fly, you need to have a thick tippet. So I was fishing with mostly with 3X when I was down there. That's 8 pounds, 8.8 pounds of stuff I was using on a river, you know, and that was fairly standard. And then they don't spin so bad. Fun fly to tie. And that foam comes, I had them in orange, I had them in bloody green, black, all sorts of colours. But that's just a boring old tan one, which is good as any, I guess. Also tied some black ones, but made to look. Another popular fly down there is blue bottle, believe it or not. And they use a thing called a blue bottle humpy, which is a black humpy, just like a normal humpy, with like an electric blue body underneath. And I tied one, and I thought I can't be asked to tie these; they take forever, you know, with all the fiddling about. So I come up with one. I don't know if I've got one here. Hang on. Oh, this is the box I took to New Zealand. Yeah. So this is using the same foam. This is tied for the blue bottle with blue tinsel underneath. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see the blue shining through.
Yeah, didn't work, but all the guides were saying, "Oh, that's great fly," you know, but they just didn't work on the day. So that one was a bit crap, really. There's an orange lilo. Um, and then the other one I used an awful lot of down there was just a normal small parachute. But these are tied quite heavy, so they'll hold a nymph underneath. And I was surprised. I was expecting, I don't know why, but I was expecting them to be using quite a lot of big flies down there. But like that's an 18, so they they were confidently fishing small flies like this with nymphs underneath them, which was interesting to see. Yeah. And then I had a load of CDCs. I got 3 empty slots on the end. They were all those caddis where the guide nicked them. Is
He'll be waiting for you to go back next year so he can top his box up.
yeah. That's one of the neoprene nymphs. But it's quite, as you can see, it's quite a simple box. There's lots of so there's basically in there. There's basically 2 main patterns and a few odds and sods, a few heavy nymphs and stuff. Whereas there's one I just showed you. It's the sort of shuttlecock type thing. Well, I can do a parachute for you if you want. What else we got here? That was it, really. That's all I took with me. There's a yeah, there's a heavy. That's the only bead head I took. A bunch of these. They're guess what? Olive and black body, olive dubbing with a bit of flash at the front and a matte black bead. And they did okay. Size 14s. Yeah. I didn't feel at any time like I should have had something else with me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was okay. Yeah. Anyway, so I've got 2 more trips this year. We're going to Croatia in May to fish for a type of trout called a softmouth trout. It's not a joke. You try to Google it. It's the weirdest looking thing. It's a trout, but it's got its mouth underneath like a grayling, and they only live in certain parts of Bosnia and Croatia. So we're going to go and try and catch them. Something we've been talking about for years, never got around to doing it. My Slovenian mates. So we're going to have a week down looking for them. I don't know anything about them at the moment, so I need to sort of read up on them. I don't think my mates in Slovenia know much about them, to be honest. So we found a guide down there that will take us to the places they live. So I'm looking forward to that. It'll be different. And then in July we're going to Iceland. Same boys. And we're going to fish a river called the unpronounceable thing, Mini Velico or something. And it's the photographs I've seen. It's absolutely beautiful, crystal clear spring creek, just stunning. And they've got big trout in there, big browns. But they're telling us, all the locals are saying that it's a midge-based river, and the sort of flies they're telling us to bring tiny flies like 18s down to 24s. And some of these fish are quite large, so that's going to be interesting. They got no olives on the river at all. They got some caddis, so I'll take some of those elk here things. And then I'm busy tying up tiny parachutes and tiny little shuttlecocks and stuff, and a few of the WD-40s, like down in really small sizes. And that's it really for the rest of this year. I'm sure my wife's got something planned to go sit in the sun somewhere, but that's the fishing trips this year.
Take some
Not
string
bad.
things with you.
String things, yeah. I always got string things stashed somewhere. I didn't take them to New Zealand, but that was an interesting thing. If you ever go, they're very strict on customs when you go in. It's illegal to have felt sole boots down there because on the South Island they've got a type of something in the water called didimo that's not good, and they try and for it not to spread to the North Island. So when you go into customs, as you're flying in, they give you this piece of paper you've got to fill in, and if you don't fill it in properly and you don't declare what you've got, if you get caught, it's bad news. So it's like you can't bring in any food, for instance, any fresh food or meats or anything like that. No felt sole waders, even if they're not felt sole, they'll want to look at them. Walking boots, they're really hot on. They want to look at them. They've got to be clean and dry, bone dry, because they don't want anything brought in with mud or damp waders or damp wading boots. They're really strict on it, like super strict. And if they don't like the look of it, they'll make you disinfect it, which is a pain in the ass because you don't have, not only do you have to pay for it, it takes us a day or so. So you're waiting for your gear, So that's something worth knowing if you ever go down there. They're very, very strict.
They're protecting the environment, aren't they?
Oh, they're big on it, mate. They're really big on it. And it's good. I think it's great. But if you don't know it, you could get yourself in trouble.
Yeah.
No. Excuse me. I didn't take waders. I just wet waded the whole time. And I bought a pair of cheap wading boots when I was down there. So when I went in, all I had was my box of flies, a rod, which I managed to break, and
Oh no.
yeah, and a reel, bits and pieces. No waders, no wading boots, no net. I didn't take a net down there. And to be honest, the wet wading, never really done it before. and I think their weather is very similar to ours. So I was down there in midsummer, and you know it wasn't boiling hot. We were getting in these mountain rivers and in a pair of wading boots, neoprene socks, and a pair of trousers, you know. And it was quite comfortable. In fact, I really enjoyed it. So I'm going to try that over here this summer. Just leave the waders at home.
As long as the water's not too cold.
Yeah, yeah. You know, I've been in the mountain streams in Slovenia in May, and you know, if you're not careful, you know, you could do yourself some damage because it's so cold. You
Your
lose the feeling in
frostbite.
your legs. Oh yeah. Yeah, but it wasn't anything like that. It was good. It was really good. Anyway, so do you want me to do a parachute and call it a day, or have we had
Yeah.
enough, or what?
That'd be great.
Yeah? Okay.
Have another sip of that wine.
You jealous? Right. So this is a 14. I think the sizes I use mostly are 16 and smaller, maybe 18 and smaller. I think they come into their own in summer, and I like them in the smaller sizes when you got that sort of haze of insects over the top, and I like them for casting in underneath bushes, so you can see the white post really well. Yeah, it's quite a useful fly. I wouldn't fish them all the time, but you know, in their place they're good. And now I know you can hold up like a 2 mil bead on one of these. It's a useful thing to have in your box. I'm looking for my bit of CDL.
Oh, Ed Madrigal, he does some nice Code de Leon.
That's where I get it from. Yeah. I like Ed.
Yeah.
He's a good lad. I buy it in this color mostly, just grey. I said to him the other day, I said, go through your stuff and find the palest grey you got. I said, I'll buy a few packets of that off you. And he said, what are you going to try with that? I said, I'm going to dye it olive. And he said something to me like, I'm not going to swear like he did, but he said, that's committing a crime. And I went, oh, sorry, I told you. He said, no, he said, I wouldn't mind seeing it when you've done it. So there's a tail, not too long again. Exactly the same way. Release it. Release it. Release it. Release it. I like these quite on the heavy side, heavily dressed. They do need floatant, not like the CDC, but they do need a bit of floatant, I find. So a bit more hackle helps. So that's the underbody. So I come back about a little bit longer than an eye length and a half for the thorax. These hooks are quite short shanked, so they're not like a normal dry fly hook. They're a bit short. So you've got to mess around to get the proportions looking half decent. And then a bit of poly yarn of some sort. This is siliconized poly yarn. I think, who does it now? Fly Tying Boutique. So I don't know if any of you remember niche tying products back in the 90s. Guy called Peter. No, well, he was over in Essex. But he used to do this stuff. It's great. Floats like a cork. But he sold up, and I think the guy at Flight Iron Boutique sort of got it from him. I think I'm going to need probably 2 strands of this. It's a lot finer than normal poly yarn. You can get it in black.
A lot of the old stuff is you struggle to get now, don't you?
Yeah, I get it in big bagfuls. So you brush it out, get it to roughly what you want. So that's two strands popped on top. Two turns, holding everything tight. Front, couple of turns behind. Then I turn the vise so the fly faces me really, and start going up the post. I'm only tying this one to prove that I can tie half-tidy flies. It's a little bit fancy, a hackle and a wing. So I've gone up there a fair way. Back down and lock it off at the bottom. So you want that post to be fairly stiff. So when you're wrapping a hackle, it's not bending around. So you want a nice fine dubbing on this, I think. Probably, I like beaver. I like muskrat. So what we got here? We've got beaver. So some grey beaver. So this stuff's really fine.
And it dubs tight as well, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, it dubs really tight and skinny, you know.
Liz, stop it. Oi, oi.
You shout at the missus.
I think Ian's dog's jumping on him, something.
Oh, have I got my audio on? Sorry about that.
That's all right, mate. I thought you were shouting at the missus. You take that dubbing back to the tail. And just bring it up. Try not to catch any of that poly yarn if you can help it. Perfect. Perfect amount. I was lucky. So I whip finish there. Take the thread off. Then I put it upright in the vise. So if you put it that way around, what I found, or what happens to me, is sometimes as you're wrapping it clockwise, sometimes you pick up on the tail as you come round and knock the tail out, so get it caught in a hackle. So I'll do it this way around. And so I can keep the hackle away from the tail easier, if you know what I mean. So that's that. So you need quite thin thread for this, so 40 nought or 60 nought Vivus is what I like. The 16 is lovely. I think I'm using 14 here. Yeah, 14. So there's your post. Everything's ready for your hackle. I just got to find some hackle. I like saddle hackle best for parachutes. That's a Cree. Quite nice. Can I find a size 14 hackle on you? That was the thing. I think that's as good as I'm going to get. A lot of these saddles have quite a small range, like a hackle. Like, they'll say they'll tie 3 sizes or something. I find that that's not always the case. I mean, that's a small hackle for. It's a small hackle for a 14. I don't like that. I want a black one. Sorry, boys, my OCD is going. Yeah, so this is just a badger, but I cut them in because they're so long. I cut them into shorter lengths to use. It's just easier to handle. So I chop off a length and then strip the bottom, but leave a tuft of this stuff on the bottom of the hackle. So that's my little handle. And he's nearly always got a curvature to him. That's the good side on top. That's a good side below. And I don't know if you can actually see the curvature there, but it cups up towards the bad side. And I find if you tie them in with the good side facing up, you tend to get a really scruffy hackle at the bottom and very easy to catch with a thread and so on. So I tie them with the good side facing down. Well, the non-cup side facing down.
It should flare up that way.
Yeah, exactly. So tie that in nice and tight. I like to use hackle pliers, but I can't see any in a minute. Where are they? Nope. Yep.
C and F?
Yeah, these are. Yeah, I like these. So you can see the fibers tend to stay square on the bottom. See what I mean?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So tying these things off, I cord up my thread. I take the thread up alongside the hackle, then bend the hackle away from the thread and take a couple of turns. And then I take the hackle away from the thread in the opposite direction. Take a couple of turns. You still will catch a couple, but you can sort them out. That's why God gave us scissors. And then just whip finish underneath the hackle. Sometimes when you're whip finishing, you can use the whip finish to control some of the spiky ones underneath. You can grab them with a whip finish, and sometimes. But generally with any hackle, whether it's a parachute or whether it's just a normal collar hackle, the actual hackle will tell you when you put too many turns on, because there's nowhere for it to go. So it starts splaying out in all sorts of strange directions. So with a parachute, when that happens, when you're tying down, normally you put in one turn too much. So if you just unwrap one turn, you're probably back to where you should be. And just trim the wing about the same length as the hackle, I guess. And that's it. So that's all right. It's got no stuff sticking out the bottom. Nice even hackle. I think it's 3 turns on that one. And that polypropylene wing can float a boat.
Yeah.
That's a big parachute for me. This is I've been tying a lot of them lately, and these are all sort of 14s, 16s, and I've got them tiny ones here somewhere. Yeah, these are all sub 20, but they're all tied in exactly the same way.
Yeah, my kind of sizes.
Yeah, yeah. I don't like those pink wings, but I'll give them to someone.
We won't say who do we know who to.
Yeah. So I think that's it, chaps. I've run out now, I think.
Thanks, Paul.
That's all right, boys.
Thanks, Paul. Excellent video.
Yeah.
Great
Who was
seeing
here
you
in
again.
the end?